Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. All right, guys, on this episode of the Bullet Points, we are going to dive into something that happened in Washington, D.C. yesterday around a gun violence vigil. Now, this is important because Biden got the microphone, Pelosi got the microphone, and everything was revealed, per usual, in the theater of gun control. Everything's going to be linked in the description box below, and I cannot wait to hear what you guys think about this one. And if you are new, we would love to have you join the fold and jump in the subscription list so you can get notified of every video I release twice a day. And we're always looking to earn that subscription. And thank you so much in advance for your consideration in joining the party over here. But with that said, let's get into this, guys. We've got to talk about what happened at this vigil because, per usual, emotion in theater is a mainstay on the Democrat gun control side. Check this out. I want to hear what you guys think. Let's get it. Some Uvalde, Sandy Hook families joined Biden and Pelosi at vigil for victims of gun violence. Now, of course, the media is going to pick this up and lap it up like the lapdogs that they are for the media. And by the way, just a little interesting thing, here is the actual picture that ABC Go used on their thumbnail. Just saying. But let's get into here. I'm going to show you what they're talking about. And Pelosi said a few things that were interesting. The organizers of the event said a few things that are interesting. And Biden himself made some Bidenisms, which you can't make up. Let's get to the first thing. Pelosi. She also addressed the gathering, taking aim at legislators who stand against gun reform. Now, keep in mind, we're talking about the assault weapons ban, H.R. 1808, the assault weapons ban of 2022 that Pelosi and her ilk in the in the House of 2022 passed. Now, of course, it's sitting in the Senate. It's waiting to even be heard for a vote. It hasn't even been brought to the floor. It hasn't made it out of committee. It's stagnant. It is stalled, which is why you're seeing coverage on exactly this. But let's continue, because if this was truly just about the people and the innocents and the victims that it was, you wouldn't bring this up at a vigil. But that's never stopped them before. Let's keep going. Quote, "As we say to our colleagues, your political survival is nothing compared to the survival of our children," Pelosi said. "How can you not see that and take the hard vote?" So the first thing I want to say on this little tirade is the Democratic policies, they can never stand in unison. And this is important to understand. As they go forward, they do focus groups. They pick out an item and they hit on it. For example, gun control. They're going to talk about gun control. They're going to have their narrative. They're going to have their talking points. They're going to have everything lined up. It's all about saving lives. If we can save one life, that's all that matters. However, when you go to the other pillar and you say, I don't know, women's rights to healthcare or abortion, however you want to term it, it's not what this channel's about, but it's a good example. Every life, it's not life, it's just a clump of cells. Again, not this channel, but the whole point is they can't stand together, because over here, you say one thing, and over here, on a different point, it completely contradicts. It's important to understand that and call it out for when it's very visible. But next thing I want to hit and move past that is a very key tone change that occurred in the actual organizers of the event. Now, this is put together by Newtown for Gun Safety, or Newtown Connecticut Alliance, which is a gun control group. Okay, they're aligned with Giffords.org. They're aligned with Everytown for Gun Safety. They're aligned for Moms Man Action. They are in the fold. But check this out. They descended on Washington, D.C. this week to renew their push for additional gun safety legislation, including a proposed ban on assault weapons that is headed for debate in the Senate. That's interesting and important. They're saying here that it's heading for debate in the Senate. Again, I told you in the introduction that it's not heading for debate as of right now. There isn't even a committee ship on this. It has to get out of committee and then be pulled to the floor, or Schumer has to force it out of committee through a cloture vote. None of these things have happened, and they've got about a week and a half before they close for business in the Senate, and a new Congress is sworn in, and this old one is closed. What's this about? Check this out. Again, it's all in the comments. Quote, "We are trying to put pressure on the Senate to put the bill to the floor to vote, even if it's just for accountability," Kimberly Rubio, whose daughter Lexi was killed in Uvalde, told ABC News. "We want to see where senators stand so their constituents can take that into consideration." Now, we've seen that a whole lot recently with gun control votes. All of a sudden, it's not about getting it passed and making the change that they want to change. Now it's about an accountability vote. You even saw Chris Murphy about 2 weeks ago on CNN say the exact same thing. Let's see where we get people to stand on this. It's becoming an accountability vote to force a vote to where nothing will happen like they want, but they want to use it for political capital. Again, this is happening at a vigil for gun violence victims across the country. Put that in perspective. And we couldn't have a good conversation without Biden coming in and saying a Bidenism. Check this out. At the vigil, Biden called it common sense to ban assault weapons, limit the number of bullets allowed in a cartridge, and restrict the types of weapons that can be bought and sold. He said that the federal government had banned assault weapons before. We can do it again, he said. Now, a little note on this. It's important to understand the landscape of when it was banned in 1994 and they lost all power because of it, and where it is now. For example, you've got the Heller decision since then. You've got the Bruin decision since then. You have all sorts of precedent across the board. It's a little bit different, JoJo, than it was in 1994 when you caught everyone off guard and you just banned everything because it was the problem. Not to mention, it is a common use platform with over 25 million units sold across the country. It's not the same as 1994, and they're starting to figure that out, because even if they were to push it through the Senate and get it on there somehow past the filibuster, you've got the courts to deal with, and that is a hell of a contender when you're talking about what you're talking about here. Last thing, and then we're going to get onto our Thursday. The vigil, organized by the Newtown Action Alliance, was held 1 week before the 10-year anniversary of Sandy Hook, when we know what happened. This is all political theater, and in my opinion, kind of gross of where the political theater and of which stage it is being used. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.